So much blown. Lagos, holla at your girl. Available online and stuff. Go to folustorms.com. Check me out on YouTube. You can also find me. I'm sorry. Hi guys. Good morning.
We love it. And Chef Jeff. Morning, Chef Jeff 3000.
Yeah, I love you 3000. Good to be back here.
All right, wonderful. We also have another guest with us. So the weekend was Nollywood weekend, if I put it that way, because AMBCA's dominated the headlines in the entertainment industry in Nigeria. And we have someone, well, one of the tribe members of Nollywood here. Folu Storms is actually one of them as well. And he's an actor, has a job, and I would allow him to tell us, because I know there are many parts to you.
Right.
So you heard his voice. It is PJ. I am that PJ.
Hey.
Great to have you, Jimmy.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's really great to be here.
All right. What would you rather be called, PJ, Jimmy?
Yeah, either's fine. Jimmy's fine. PJ's fine. I don't care.
Okay, fantastic. So why do you call you PJ?
All right, because I'm a pastor, so it's like the P in
You
there.
funky guy.
It's like the P in there. So that...
It's not because of your many private jets.
Pastors have them now. Amen, right? Socially be. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Give me that. I'll take that.
Fantastic. So, of course, guys, you know today is going to be a blast. We're going to have such a great time. We're going to be analyzing the AMVCAs. In case you missed it, don't worry. This show is like you're watching it because we're going to give you the breakdown. Were you there?
Funny thing, I wasn't there.
Oh, really?
I was supposed to be,
Okay.
but I wasn't. I'm not going to put the person on blast. But the person that was supposed to make my outfit decided to mess up, so I didn't get my outfit till 7:30.
Whose wedding was it? I think it was Tools and it was Banky. One of the people, his outfit didn't come, so he gave us one fashion that was top of the town. Was it this Limpopo? I can't remember his name, but one of the Casey. I think someone was short or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a fashion statement.
Yeah, that's a fashion statement. So for
Sorry, shout out to Harry Song for his
was it
outfit.
Harry Song? Yeah,
Friggin' love it.
Oh.
Like the turban.
And
Well, it was a
the
turban, and
yeah.
I was like, shout out to that dude.
And they were trolling him for the shoes.
Also, like the memes were terrible though. Like, I felt like bad, but I laughed. I was like,
all right. So we're going to get into the AMPCA gist. I hope we can get into something else because it's going to be we're going to really talk about it. But before then, we have songs to review, and we'd love for you to be a part of the conversation. We don't want to keep the conversation within ourselves here. So we have channels through which you can send us messages. You can do so through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is
0809-444-0981. We're also on Twitter at Smooth981FM. The hashtag is Grapevine981. And you know we're streaming live on YouTube. Please subscribe. Smooth981FM Lagos.
Okay, so let's do our first song. First song is by one of our listeners. Actually, I love when we get to review songs by our listeners. For you to send in your songs so that you don't think that we're just picking up, those already established. We want to hear new sounds, we want to hear good music. If you work so hard, we want to give you a platform to showcase. So this is from Ola Temple, and Ola Temple is telling you to lock up. Here's the song.
turn it up.
Alright, let's go. So going back on, mic's up. All right, lock up.
Well, just points as in, you know what?
Wow, Val.
Ooh. All right. First of all, I don't really think that I don't know if this song is a new song because I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. Okay. To be honest, I would dance to it. But if I were to really be like, okay, this is something I want to listen to right now, this probably I would say that, there's just there's something wrong in the production somewhere. The autotune is really, really wonky. And the guy, you know what, guys, seriously, practice your vocal drills. Honestly speaking, practice your vocal drills. It's not something that gets done all the time, but if you want to be truly a singer, take it from me, practice on those things. You can't just keep on getting by just by commercializing stuff, to be honest. I would dance to this, but in terms of like, oh, this is like something in the back, I just walked in, and just try to feel the vibe. But in terms of like, I'm gonna listen to this again, I'm not really too sure about that.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Hola. It is an okay track. So here, I have an issue in general with songs that sound like this, because what a lot of musicians do is they create music that sounds like it should be a hit song, but isn't. So the song itself doesn't particularly appeal. That's why it feels like background music. It feels like something you've heard before. It feels like you could walk in and be like, yeah. So what I'm saying is, this is not your sound. I don't know who you are, Ola. I started playing this in the car, and as soon I got a phone call that stopped playing, I didn't bother going back to the song. And that's the truth. And it's not that it's a bad song, it's just it has no impact on me, and probably most people that are vibing to it is because you have the money and the resources to like flood people with the same thing, and that's the sound that you hear. So sometimes when songs become popular that sound like this, you'll be like, oh, hey, it's a mad song. No, those guys just had the resources to just flood everybody with the music. So you have no choice. You start singing it like a nursery rhyme. But I really think, I mean, great attempt and good job, because it's so hard to put out your own original work and then, you know, put yourself on the line for people to critique you. But I'm sure that you can do a lot better than this. But well done, though. Those are my thoughts.
You're such a.
PJ.
You never expected it.
Right. After that, listen, man. If you first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again.
Hey.
You know, hey, and like Folu said, it's not easy to put yourself out there. So keep doing what you're doing. The more you do it, the better you become at it. So.
I represent James Silas here. Yeah, what they said. But really, you can. I feel honestly. I believe this guy can do better, way better, and I really commend him for his courage, for putting himself out there and trusting. Summoning up the courage to put it out in the public space for people to listen to. Yes, because I don't know if I'll be that brave after listening to the sounds.
Yeah, and clearly you met us on a good day, because maybe Bruna is disturbing us, because this is the nicest like feedback that you know in a long time when we don't particularly feel your song. So you are blessed. This tell you something. Take this positive energy and roll with it, bro.
Roll with it. All right, thank you guys so much. I think Simfajo has something to say about this. Simfajo says, first it's a party song, and then it sounds like the usual Niger song. You can do more, bro. Your voice has a lot of effect. Give us a different sound, but that's good.
And Big Busy says, reacting to freshly pressed. Thank you. And then somebody else, Nkechi says, yay, Jimi Odukoya, aka PJ, first time commenting ever because of him. I've been a fan from African Magic's Eve and haven't looked back ever since. Amazing talent.
Oh, thank you.
Nice
That's
one.
very
Thank
kind.
you so much, Nkechi. And then someone says, PJ in the building, dancing party. Hello guys, welcome back. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to the next song very quickly so we can get to the stories and also have the opportunity to chat with PJ. Tiana Taylor is here with a song, and it's featuring Lauryn Hill. Good to have her on this track, and it's titled We Got Love. Sorry, I know we watched it. At this rate, it's just the intro.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Hey, no, we have to get that. I know. Oh, yeah. All right. Bye bye, everyone. All right, that's Taylor with Lauryn Hill on We Got Love. What do you guys think? People are passionate. It's because
my sister. Excuse me. You know, it's just that we're almost related.
Yeah.
Because my true home in the UK and in the US, we're both Jew and I. And all Jew and I need is love.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I think it's so cool. Big shout out to Tiana Taylor. I think it's such a cool thing that we've, first of all, seen her go from her teenage life to being this adult woman who is so confident and so bold and so secure, or projecting security in herself, pushing family values in the newest way possible, which I think is great. And she's authentic to herself, and it's translating in her work and the type of music she's doing. And any message from me that has love, I'm like, that's a cool thing. And you do it in style, and you do it representing the motherland. I'm like, my sister, let's talk, you know. And because she do song with my sister, she that's how I know we're really close in spirit. So this is a cool video. I think it's dope. Miss Lauryn Hill is not in the video, so don't look for her. I didn't see her anywhere.
Yeah,
she's not present. You actually forget that she's a part of the song until you mention it again, and you're like, oh, oh. But because she's a big name, if she touched this, if she put full stop in the song, her name is going to be on the title. So don't take a pee if you're wondering where's Lauren. Because for me, actually, that was a bit hard to remember after I watched the video, but I think it's a dope video. It's a cool song. Big shout out to Tiana Taylor.
I mean, she hasn't really blown up the way that one would have expected after all this time. But again, that comes with that whole secure about what message she puts out there, what music she puts out there. So with this, again, yes, on the Lauryn Hill side, I was like, when I first saw this, the title of the song featuring Lauryn Hill, like, how did you manage? Because that just doesn't happen anymore. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a voice sample. It ends up being that case, like Chimamanda on Beyonce's track kind of thing. So I think it's an artsy video. It's artsy lyrics. If you're trying to be like, go, this is some music you want to jam to, I don't think this would be quite it. It's really about you trying to listen to the lyrics and try and get that African vibe kind of thing. I like the whole leopard print thing that's going on there. There are Nigerian dance moves in there.
Yeah,
there are quite a few of those in there.
Wait, what's
So,
that guy's name? The one that made this dance famous.
I know.
What's his name?
Not allowed.
Oh, Pokoli, my guy, you don't blow.
Yes.
Poco's dance is in there
Yes.
well.
Yes.
That crazy step
Yes.
is in there.
Yes.
So shout out to him. Yeah.
But the family values thing, I love that. She when Lauryn Hill's part comes in, she's Tana showing you her family. It's like a husband with the proposal, the baby, and then like the whole pose of the chair thing. So it's really, that's Folu said, family values that she's putting out there, and a message of self-love being the best love. Self-love is the new money.
And it feels fresh, yes. And
love
that was
that
my
line.
takeaway. My biggest takeaway was love is the new money, and the world should really push that further, more than champagne and girls. It's like that. And it felt fresh to see Tiana Taylor, different from the last look I saw her on Kanye's video.
Super sexy.
Yeah, super sexy and all that. So it was really nice and fresh, and it was beautiful. I really loved the artistic parts where the camera pulled out and showed her on the chair with the husband and the baby and everybody else dancing. And
Balolo is talking like this only because he's not a married man. If you want to rewind back now.
I always loved you know that.
If you want to rewind back now.
Thank you.
Shot.
Even with the marriage, I was looking at him. There's something I was like,
Corner eye.
But she still got that, buddy.
See, that's a little bit of the old one.
That's a little bit coming
That's
out.
about the old Valentine. No Balolo Valentine.
Well, for being completely honest, I haven't seen the video.
That's fine. Yeah.
I mean, the headlines grabbed me, seeing Lord, and I wanted to. So when I heard she was on the video, I was like, oh no, because I wanted to see what that would, and to see how that would work. Tiana Taylor and Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds interesting. I saw like the opening clips of it, but I'm definitely gonna go watch it now. after all the
Hey,
review, so.
do it.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so we have to go into. Okay, I think we should just get into this very quickly before we
sorry.
move on. Yeah.
Kanye West produced the song.
So did you?
Oh yeah,
I'm
standard
so
now.
surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds
I mean,
about
she's
right.
on good music labels anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you very much for that
You're welcome.
information.
I don't know if that was a real thanks or a
Oh,
threat.
I was
I
gonna
wasn't
say
sure.
thanks,
I just gave Valentine that mommy look. That like, did I ask you to speak? Don't take food from your auntie now.
All right, okay, let's go to. Okay, no, let me talk. Let's talk to
Yes.
Jimmy first of all. So when we come
Right.
back from the break, then we go straight into the MPCA.
Right.
But Jimi Odukoya, you've been, I mean, so many things. I know you're a dancer, rapper, an actor. So you're an artist.
Yes.
Yeah. So what comes first for you?
It depends on what day you're asking me this. But I mean, most of the time I spend my times on set, but I think before I was an actor, I was a pastor, so I guess we'll say that comes first, right? But my 9 to 5, if you would, I say acting, and then sliding and speaking, and in between my free time, counseling. So yeah, the juggling lots of different hats. So, but yeah, I think acting takes up most of my time during the week.
How do you find time to act with your ministerial responsibilities?
How? You know,
Sometimes
it's-
when I look at you, I see the way I see Stephen Furtick, and I
Yeah.
wonder how this kind of people, find time for their social life
Right.
and other.
Yeah, it gets tough, but I guess you just have to plan and balance. So sometimes, I'm on set till like 7, 8 a.m. Sunday morning, and I remember Easter Sunday last year, I was on set till 10 a.m. and I literally drove from set right into church, got on stage, and actually preached the Easter sermon.
They went cops.
And then after I went up, got back, went in my car, drove right back to set. I have speaking engagements. I change in the car from set, go speak, come back to set. So sometimes it's, juggling those responsibilities and then having personal life as well, family and kids.
So here's a question I have for you. Speaking of juggling those responsibilities, responsibilities. I think there are a lot of people that still feel that those things are opposed to each other. They should
Right.
be mutually
Oh, definitely.
exclusive. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with that in this modern world where it is important to, I think, especially from a faith-based perspective,
Right.
be there for people who may not really understand the faith, or,
Right.
and the only way they're going to get it is if you're speaking their language.
Right.
But how do you work that, and does that bother you at all?
Me personally, no.
Okay.
Because for me, yes, people believe that it's like light and darkness, oil and water. These two
Yeah.
don't mix.
Yeah.
This is a dark industry, and I think it's interesting that even going from the faith perspective, that you can't be light in light. If we're going by that ideology or thinking, you can't only be light and darkness. So if that's where if I'm light and I'm supposed to be in darkness, if you will, if you say that in Hollywood is which I don't see it as, I feel that you can't be, let's not talk influence in places where it's safe and where you're known. I think church people like to be amongst church people and then believe that they're influential. No, go into the world and be influential. Go into the world and take that mountain, if you will, of your sector, if it's entertainment, if it's business, And so I make no apologies for being me. I'm just being true to who I feel God has called me to be. And people are like, well, I can't listen to you. You're not pastor. I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to be your pastor. You see what I mean? So it is what it is. I'm doing me, and anyone who I'm called to that we connect, I'm great. But if that's not you, that's great too. I love you. You love me. Let's love God.
Talking about mixing, isn't it interesting that every time I'm sure you have interviews like this where you talk about your work, you always talking about it, just what you mentioned, Folu, with regards to you can make it work. It can come together. You don't separate. Okay, today you're pastor, Tuesday you are.
One more question for PJ. What's been your most challenging role till date, and why?
What's been my most challenging role? I don't know that I think, acting, I think as a creative, you want to give your best in anything that you do. You want to commit. I think if you watch an actor and you see that they're acting, you failed as an actor. I need to see you and believe that you are this role. And a lot of times when people see me playing certain roles, like they think, like if I'm an abusive husband or I'm a cheating husband, or because people expect because I'm a pastor I should play good roles.
Yeah.
Good roles only.
Only
good roles.
The
You
end.
see, you know what I mean? So when they see me in these roles and they see me play very well, people be like, so
You really have
You have them come up to you and just say, that's just very bad.
Yo, I have
Why
people,
did you do that?
Yeah, someone come like my mother was abusing the whole time with this character. Like, a very evil guy.
that Jimmy used to like.
Do you understand? Like, you can't, if you're playing it this convincing and you're beating somebody, So I guess I get that.
Thank you. I mean, that's a great one. Thank you very much. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll talk. We'll still talk to you a bit more and also look at some of the stories that we have this morning. This is the Grapevine 981. We'll be back.
This is Michelle Dede. Keep listening to Smooth 98.1. Have you?
Who was it that as an actor they haven't insulted you yet on the road for if particularly you do a bad role?
They come and meet you. Hey, so why Sonny came to meet me? Why have you not slapped at your husband? You should have slapped that man. Are you going to slap him? I'm very offended.
In real life.
I finished filming
You
it.
remember the OC? What's her name's mother? Like if I saw her in like real like the woman that played, I'd be like, what was wrong with you? Like, why just like
Think about
what's your problem?
this poor kid that played that evil little rubbish guy in Game of Thrones that played
Yeah,
the young
yeah, the
Lannister, yeah.
This guy gets death threats regular. The Joffrey
Yeah.
Joffrey was getting like
Yeah.
steady death
he
death
resigned from
threat.
acting for a
Like,
little bit.
yes!
I'm going to school.
Or the kid in Power was that played Ghost Son.
No, it's serious.
It's people take
People
it
take
pee.
it pee.
Yeah.
Have I ever taken it personally?
Nah,
Maybe I'm
people
just
take
someone
it
that
pee.
thinks
I saw my sister.
Patience
My sister sent me a video of my niece watching a bit of Unmarried, and I think I made out with my husband or something, whatever, and her face was like, "Why is that your dad? What's happening?" I was like, "Don't traumatize your daughter." Yeah, because you said Jeff was the first person to send me the thing.
It's like, what is it? Because people can't, they can't separate you
from the
that's you.
character.
We know you, and then you're slapping this person.
it's very
Sorry guys, I can stay to the end.
Hey.
I remember one time I told my wife now. I told her that I was thinking of going into acting. She was like, yeah, except No kissing rose. I'm like, I don't
I
understand.
kiss and roll.
People
man.
think it's only men that have a problem with it with their wives, but
Yeah.
some women also find it. And I'd have loved to ask you, although they want to ask you, should I watch one? How?
The way he's trying to like,
Like
we're not
to
judging the
ask-
question right now.
Yeah, but-
Give us an answer, please. Thank you very much.
What? But we had to.
Yeah.
No, we have to
That's
ask you
my
that
question
question.
for you.
Because
Oh,
it's
come
not even
on.
just your wife, your dad, your family members. You know, how do
I
they?
just feel like
When you finish kissing and you watch a movie,
No, but I think there are professional ways to do this, you know.
Yeah, that's
Because
what
I think, you know, with
this
kissing,
one-
it's less
yeah.
about
Okay,
the
guys,
act and
10
more about the
seconds.
nuances.
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing, and I
I
feel
think people don't realize that.
So you have to tell us. Wait.
I like
Mike's up. Studio is live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the Grapevine 981K on Smooth 98.1. We're definitely having fun. If you're not watching us on YouTube, sorry, because the things that happen behind the scenes that you get to see if you watch us on YouTube. By the way, YouTube is Smooth 981 FM Lagos.
WhatsApp is 0809-444-0981. We have Chef Jeff 3000.
yes, I
We
love you
have Folu
3000.
Storms. We
Hey.
have that PJ.
Hey.
And the beer hands comes in on WhatsApp. He says, "Hey guys, Ayo, Val, PJ, Mr. 3000. James, no James here. And then Folu, Chai Folu, my hands have been up. Oh. We wanted it, and you gave us lovely outfit. So as for AMVC, I'm still writing my thoughts. Need extra sheets. See how they wrapped it up. Well, we haven't started yet, but then you're right on time.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, being here. Before we ask some more questions, let's get into MVCs. I know
let's do
people are
that.
eager to get into it. So, living in
Yes.
bondage was the biggest win of the night at the MVCA's 7th edition. The live shows happened on Saturday night, and Folu was actually the first person I saw on the red carpet being interviewed. I watched literally from 4 p.m. when they
Oh
started the
wow,
red carpet. So,
amazing.
when I saw when I saw your outfit, I was like, yeah, it was so. I thought it was so
Fine.
creative.
Please, so there was somebody else on the red carpet. It wasn't just
Oh.
Folu.
No, we only saw for
We only saw
I don't know
Folu.
about you.
I mean, I was getting the whole Wakanda and Ninja and you know, also in the moment thing with the mask kind of thing going on. I was like, yes, Folu does not disappoint. Folu does not disappoint. I tell you.
Actually, I do.
man.
I was worried
As
for
in-
you at first until I zoomed into that mask and I noticed that you didn't cover your nose because I was worried as to how like you could
Breathe through it.
handle the
or the
studs.
heat.
Didn't you
Oh,
see
okay.
those blades?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
of course,
but it was
everybody's
fine.
on the
No,
blade,
no,
of
no,
course.
no.
Your
So
stylist
yeah,
name.
so let me just say first of all, the real winner of the outfit is Miss Modish. Big shout out to Madam Modish. She's my stylist and has been for a few years. And it was very interesting how the outfit turned out. Because the idea was let's go Afrofuturistic. That's all it was. It was meant to be military inspired Afrofuturistic outfit. Now when she told me there was going to be a mask in it, I laughed because first of all, she's notorious for this. So if you just Google like Madam Modish, you'll see she's been wearing masks and putting them on people for the better part of a few months now. But when I saw that, also it did occur to me that yeah, it is quite timely because we are talking about this thing. But personally, because I've also been a big advocate of people not panicking and not spreading misinformation. I was worried about people thinking that I would think a mask is protective gear for you, and it's not. It's protective gear for other people. And by that I mean if you already have this infection, then what a mask does is it keeps it in when you're coughing, etc., which means that for those of you who are out there buying paper masks and wearing the same mask over and over again, if you have anything, you're reinfecting yourself, which is why they say leave it for health professionals, but that's a separate story. I thought that it came out beautifully. The entire glam squad, Madam Modish, Pro Spotted, everyone took pictures. Lockitude, my lock people, it was really cool. And I don't think I expected it to have quite the impact it did. I mean, I knew it was cool. I was like, woo woo, military stuff.
I mean, someone called.
Yes. So the international press picked it up. Washington Post to send me an email, like, want to interview you. But you know, that's the other thing as well. You have to be aware that not everyone pays attention to what you're actually saying. They just take a snapshot and interpret that. So what they did is they didn't pay attention to the fact that I wrote this is futuristic, this is military inspired, they were like, COVID virus, yeah, COVID fashion. And people, to the point where people have come to my page and are informing me that a mask doesn't protect you, this thing's not covering your nose.
they
The
did?
reason it was down below my nose, because first of all, like adjusting that thing around my elaborate hair, and it was a bit difficult, which is why I only wore it for certain pictures, and then I took it off and had it really around my neck, under my clothes, in between. But you know, people are really taking it personally. They're like, you're spreading misinformation. I said, how? You know, we don't read, we don't ask questions, we just jump to conclusions. We're leapfroggers here. But it was very cool. So big shout out to the Glam Squad. MVCAs is about characters. It's about movies, and that's what I did. I came as a character.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gunning for like Black Panther too. So when BBC picked it up, I was like, okay.
Hey, we're
I was like, look at my face. What do you mean bloody? My government name.
Yeah,
Everything.
so-
They literally went to my Instagram, took like things I'd said. I was like, oh.
Wow.
But that also again reminded me the power of the media.
Yeah.
Be careful what you're writing. You don't know who's
Absolutely.
watching.
You never
Don't
know
pick
when
it
you're
up.
going to be
Yeah.
picked up.
Yeah.
Since we started on a fashion note, let's analyze the fashion and then we'll go into the awards. Some people are already asking, oh, how about release? We'll come to you, don't worry. But let's go about the fashion. In your own words, or for at least for all of us on this table, your best dressed and your worst dressed personality on the red carpet.
Best dress.
Best dressed and
Best?
worst dressed.
Oh, my best dressed was Nana Akudo. And that's because as soon as I was getting onto the carpet, I saw her and I backtracked and I didn't even know who she was, which is crazy. It was only later on when I saw the dress picking up and I was like, oh, that's who she was. I had to stop. I was like, you look beautiful. This architectural is a wonder. And she was so sweet. She was like, oh, well, thank you. I was like, no, sis, like I mean it from the bottom of my soul. That dress and that design, and I have to find who the designer is, was a wonder in fluidity and structure. I thought it was so beautiful, and that's exactly what great fashion and great art should do. It should inspire conversation. It should make you wonder, which is also why my outfit was fire. But, I loved her. I did love Denola Gray as well. I wasn't expecting that, and I saw it. I was like, oh, child, you just. But Denola does come through correct, and he really takes fashion very seriously, and it is evident, which I absolutely love. I don't know that I have a worst dress. I know that people were a bit scandalized by Omoshola. When people were talking about him on the day, I didn't see him in person on the day. I saw his pictures afterwards with the skulls. Yeah, so I think symbolic, yes, cool, and I love the symbolism of it, and I love that he almost looked like a solar system from the pictures, you know, because when you have all these heads around you, but I feel like maybe that look could have been translated a little better than it was. That's how I feel. So if there was an outfit that just made me go, maybe his, but I shout out to him for thinking.
Can you do that
talk about that.
Because I wasn't sure what he wore.
Well, I was just like,
That's
what it made you feel like, because you got it, but you were like,
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to make a statement. His
No, but funny enough, I liked it.
yeah, I thought it was. I love the statement. Yeah, I love the statement. Exactly.
That's interesting. Is that
Yeah,
you're
you have
looking at what the
different
crazy
crazy
things
that
That's
people
like
do.
how bold are you?
What's that?
Lady Gaga wearing
Lady
meat.
Gaga wearing-
Yes.
So even though it's like shock factor, but it's like it gets you
Gets
talking.
you
So I thought
talking.
I was really impressed that
It's
he had
provocative.
enough courage
Gets the
to
people
do
going.
that. Yeah, it takes balls to do that.
Yeah.
Really.
It does.
So PJ, who was your best dressed? What's dressed on the red
Well,
carpet?
I agree. I love that dress. When I saw the dress, I was like, ooh.
Mm.
And I did think architecture. I thought that is just beautiful. It's elegant. It was you couldn't fault the dress. You know, I mean, it was she said it right, like fluidity and structure. I was like, yes, because it
Perfect.
literally was, it was beautiful. What's dress? I don't
You
know.
are so kind.
But who?
They'll
Like,
say it off mic.
no, because okay, excuse me. I was
Do
presenting an
yours.
award. I was trying to be on TV and blown.
Mission accomplished.
Guys were backstage. I didn't have time. But literally, they were waiting at the door like 4 p.m. Are you ready? Give me 2 minutes. No problem. I'll wait outside. Wow, bro. So yeah, so we're like, and big shout out to them because they really wanted to be on time, get people through the process, limit exposure. So be like, okay, party and go home. This is a wrap. It's probably the last major event that's gonna happen for a while. So a lot of people who were actually there didn't get to see everyone. There are people I saw pictures of afterwards. So I was like, oh, you were there? I didn't see you. So,
But I hear the criteria for picking the best dress was time bound. Like, you have to
yes,
put it
yes,
for 5.
exactly,
Oh, they even moved it to
exactly.
6.
So people who dressed
Yes.
up and came late.
Yeah, they didn't get.
Yes.
Thank you for pointing that out, because some people were saying, "Oh, they cheated. INEC in the building, Nigeria."
No.
factor."
Wow.
They
All the
want
time.
everybody because people don't
They
list
said
him.
4 and 5. Yeah, they said between 4
And I thought it was a
You know,
brilliant
Nigerian
idea to
timing
get
now.
people to come
Thank you, Chef
Yes.
Jeff, because that's what I was
Yes.
going to point out again.
And-
We're so used to being late to events.
Right.
Yes, and when
Yeah.
people were wondering, oh, why are they giving an award for it? It was just that to encourage the
people
biggest
to
people
come
to
on
come
time.
in on time
Time,
so that they could photograph their outfits.
And
And I
it
thought
worked.
that's a good idea. 'cause, yeah.
Fantastic idea, and
Yeah.
there was a rationale behind that. Okay, so many other things to talk about. So just touch on this very quickly on fashion. Did you see Funke Akindele's outfit and the other lady? I think it was the Omoyeni. So there was a bit of they wore the exact same outfit.
Ooh,
Yes, and one of them styled by Merlin Boss, and I don't know. So Funke Akindele was like I don't know if it was the original outfit or it was a copy of, and it's an international designer. Exactly.
Hey!
So Funke Funkers was the
Funke!
copy of the original.
I don't know how no one thought that.
I searched through all where they credited. You know how to credit your outfit. They never credited who designed it, just the person who styled her. However, there's an international designer with exactly the same outfits. I don't know if the stylist got the outfit
Did they have
from
the
that
label?
designer or and they worked on the same night.
Wow.
Hey,
Listen,
you know what? Like, it's not unusual for you to wear the same dress but at a different venue.
Yeah.
Think about J-Lo's Versace dress. All right, I think there were a few other people that wore
Yes,
that,
of course.
but definitely not at the same event.
And
So
if it's not from the
who
same
wore it
designer.
better?
yeah, that's the big.
So who wore it better?
that becomes the whole better thing is what happens afterwards. All right?
Well, in that
But
moment,
it just
it's
never
like
happens at the same event.
Oh, hi. Oh.
And for one of the biggest stars of the night, she won the best actor in the drama.
Yes.
Okay, so
in
let's
a
talk
comedy,
about
in
the
a
awards
comedy.
Yeah,
Yes.
now we're talking about
Oh, and the awards, there were 7 categories that viewers could vote, right? So there was best actor in a comedy, best actor in a drama, best actress in a comedy, best actress in a drama, I think best TV film short or something like that. I mean, there are a few of those awards, and I know that there was a lot of drama about how many nominations King of Boys was up for and that they didn't really win. People kept saying King of Boys was robbed. It was robbed.
Yeah.
The first things first is you have to understand the voting categories. It really is about votes. Is about your political skills. How many votes can you galvanize? How many people can you get to actually commit? Because it's one thing to like an actor or an actress and feel like they should win. It's another thing for you to actually dedicate yourself to voting your maximum of 100 each day, every day until the awards happen. And for some people like Jennifer, I said Jennifer Akindele, Chai, Funke Akindele, aka Jennifer, which is even how they announced her,
Right.
and that just the power of film and TV. You know, she is able to command crazy numbers of Nigerians who just absolutely love her and would do anything, whether or not she even asked them to do.
Same
But
with
the-
Toyin Abraham.
Exactly.
Who won the
The same
other
thing with
award.
Toyin Abraham. So when you see these people winning again and again, to be honest with you, that's one of the big reasons. It's not necessarily that everyone unanimously believes that their performances in these productions, for which I think Akindele won for Moms at War, and let's see.
Elevator Baby for Toyin Abraham.
Exactly, Elevator Baby, which got 2 awards because Timini also won Best Actor
Yes.
for the same movie. It's really that how many people are going out to vote. A lot of us will say, oh, I like this. Oh, I love what you did. I love you, man. That's so dope. The first time you try to register and they don't send you the OTP, you're like, I'm busy. And that's the end of that.
Well, I mean, my question is, especially when you see like there's so many people who are nominated twice in the same category here, which it could happen because maybe they're that good, or it's still again the voting thing. So when do we move from a stage whereby it's no longer about the votes from the public, like in terms of popularity contest, but more about judging properly? When do we get to that stage?
Remember that AMVCA stands for African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. So
But
that
that-
is exactly what this is. Although you have to remember that there's still like 20 something categories or 21 categories that are technical categories. So there is a jury, there is a panel, and they decide those. So things like best cinematographer,
Yes.
they can't give that to the
Overall
public.
movie. Absolutely.
They can't give that to the public. That's
No.
not a public decision.
I think Jimmy and PJ, you've been
Yes.
nominated for an AMVCA.
Yes.
All right. So tell us the experience and then.
It was interesting. It was a lot of work. And then I was in a category with Odunlade, bless him. And so first of all, I knew it was like an uphill battle already. You know, I mean, Odunlade is like king. You're not, So Odunlade, you know, so Odunlade, he's, you know, so I mean, losing to him, it was great. I mean, if it was going to lose to anybody,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be Odunlade. I mean, talking about votes, you know, I mean, I had an army behind me voting. I had people hitting the streets. It was crazy. The love, you know, when you have your church army and people in universities hitting. It was people put in a lot of work, you know. So, but at the end of the day, it was a great experience to be nominated after such a period of time in the industry, and the people I was being nominated against it was great. So,
All right, fantastic. So do you think, just like what Chef Jeff and Folu Storms have mentioned with regards to making it perhaps it's not fair because popularity contest when it's not about your skills in the movie, but just about how many votes you can garner?
well, yeah, I think that there's a balance to it. I remember back in the day, so I've been told that, you know, the online voting was made transparent, where you could go online and see how many people actually voted. So there was no, because people will talk politics, because in situations where you have people who are more popular still losing to people that are less popular in the same category. it now becomes, okay, if we're looking at this person's fan base who has 1 million and this person has 100,000, how does 100,000 fan base beat a 1 million fan base, you know, if it's based on voting as well. So I think just to help that balance, which they used to have, was that transparency where you could go online and see so far this person has, you know, so it's clear, so there's no hiding. They used to have that on the website, but now they don't have that anymore.
But that's because they outsourced it, because I think is it Deloitte, Deloitte were involved literally in the voting process. So I think it's when earlier in the process they were being criticized as well for how transparent is this transparency. Like, do you know what, you're right, here you go, official, that is your responsibility. So they no longer take responsibility for doing that back end, which is why they can't necessarily display it on their sites, I believe.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. I mean, great one, because no matter what, I think with award ceremonies, there will always be winners and losers, and they'll always, no matter how transparent it is, people will still complain. So,
although a lot of people are still contesting how Tony Abraham won over Shola Shibwale for King of Boys.
How many followers does Twin Titans?
But that's the
they
thing.
don't joke.
Let's Shewon on WhatsApp says, read between the lines. You couldn't fault Nana's dress, the photoshopping that went along with the dress and cup. So I saw the video to, you know, Nana getting into the venue. There wasn't any Photoshop. It's what you saw is what exactly was brought in. Biggie from K2 said, Folu giving them hot, dressing up like wife of Sub-Zero.
I like that. I like that.
I was gonna go with the Wakanda Chun-Li.
Now that he said Sub-Zero, it makes absolutely much sense. It says you murdered the show Shining High, making BBC to look for your name. Well. Thank you, Big E. MI from Akoka says, PJ with the 007 moves. I love your unorthodox style. Folu, I guess people are jumping into conclusions because it's a leap year.
Well played, MI. Nice.
Nana took no prisoners, though. I have a few reservations about some award, but it is what it is. Shout out to IK.
IK and Cobams together.
I love that
They
moment.
were
Amazing.
One of the biggest part of the night.
I think it should be in the opening act. I don't know why.
Well, they kind of were the opening acts, if you think about it. They
had
started the whole
to be
thing.
the opening act, so I think they moved it
to the middle.
To the middle because they wanted people to come.
They had some dance.
Folu was a prisoner in her locker room. So
I'm very pretty because we have to go. I just suspect that we won't be able to get through some of the stories because of MVCs and of course our wonderful guest PJ. So we had a question for you offline, and we need to ask you this before you go.
What?
And we're talking about kissing scenes,
Sleeping.
Scenes. So you're
Passed
married.
out.
I mean, if you don't know PJ's wife, beautiful, lovely, stunning woman.
Gorgeous.
And we're asking, how do you feel, after such I've seen some of your scenes and I blush, sometimes watching them. When you go home, and it's not just your wife, you come from a family that is, known for, your dad is a pastor, your sister is a pastor, your sister is actually. How do you handle those things? And does your wife mind that you do those things?
So how much time do I have?
You are making people blush. Speak, my brother. Speak. I'm here for you.
Well, I think for me, when I go into acting, it was a bit of it's like how do I handle this? Is there a professional way to do it? And I realized, for me, if the kissing doesn't move the story, I'm not going to do it. And if I was going to kiss, it's almost like, what's the purpose of this kiss? Does it help to establish my character? And how do you kiss? There are professional ways to kiss. I think kissing is less about the kiss and more about the nuances, the breathing, how you move your head, how you tilt your head to feign passion, all of that stuff. So it might look intense, and there'll be many times I faked kisses and it looks real. How many people will I tell, it was fake, when I'm rubbing noses and just doing this, but it looks like I'm actually going in, so
this technique, this is professional.
I'm telling you, so there are ways to do it and to do it professionally, and for me, it's like, if it moves the story, if there's a purpose to it, and I could do it in a professional way that passes the story along, then I will do it within those bounds, but there's certain limits that I will not pass and things I will not cross, because at the end of the day, I have life outside the screen.
At the end of the day, it's not like we're talking about, sex or nudity here. So I think when you start to limit yourself from the kissing side of things in movies, then you are just being a little bit, you cage yourself in some of the arts, especially when there's a purpose to it. I mean, we can watch all these Hollywood movies and whatnot, and we're fine with it. You just turn, your DSTV and it's there right in front of you. But when it's now our own, we can't do it, or we feel uncomfortable with it, as if we don't do that behind the scenes like real life. So that's what the thing comes.
Yes, I do have to say that is a very important thing that PJ mentioned, because sometimes you will also get scripts, because we are in an age and a time where actors are pushing themselves here, in what I still call a false conservative society, and people are willing to push the envelope. Sometimes you'll read a script and you're like, This is not necessary.
Right.
Like there's no
Right.
reason for this
This is
interaction
so,
here, and
yeah.
and it's a challenging thing for actors and young actors to step up and say,
I'm not gonna do that.
no,
Yeah.
this stuff is not important. It adds nothing to the story. In fact, might actually detract from the story. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I wish we had more time, but unfortunately, this is where we close the curtain, and you've done justice. Thank you. I saw heat from your ears. But guys, please plug out. Would love to hear about your upcoming projects. I know you have something going on with ogele.com and
Right.
And then from Folu Storms and Chef Jeff as well.
Oh, well, yeah. So Ogele, Aluka's resident, just got done with Eve, have Faded Lines and Out of Time coming out. There are a lot of movies coming out, so I can't. But yeah, just keep connected on social media to see what's going on.
What's your social media handle?
I am that PJ. One word.
Fantastic.
I can't leave here without saying that I'm very, very proud of Tosin Ego for the
Yes!
and I know that he
And
was
the
also
win.
and
The
the win as
win.
well. And I know that he also had Ash Hammond involved somewhere, and we're trying to get him on the show to talk about his new song at some point in time. So I am Shajet 3000. That's where you find me on Twitter and Instagram. And also shout out to my younger sister. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she was nominated.
Yes, nominated for Sylvia. Thank you very much, actually. So, you know, I can't leave you without talking about it. You be talking about yourself. You won't talk about my sister.
Oh.
Don't be annoyed.
See all of you people, shame on you. Lack me, you too. Vanessa, great job, sis.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Vanessa Kalu.
Sorry, please.
yeah.
We were selling our market. Vanessa, go to my website. Folu
Can
Storms.
you imagine? You see your life.
Folu Storms.com. Still working on a number of projects. I'm also in Eve as well, so
Yes.
you can check that out. I'm up on Netflix and Castle and all that stuff. And
Yes.
So follow me online.
Two of your movies are on Netflix.
Yeah, it's 2 series. I'm
Well
on,
done.
I'm on the real and
International.
Please
Castle and
sign on my
Castle.
shirt before
Excuse me, Black Panther 2 coming. Wakanda forever.
The Grapevine 91 was brought to you by Verve. Stay with us.
Nice one. Thank you guys.
Evil
so
question.
much.
So what's the question? Please ask him if he gets a bonus.
during the kissing. I
Like,
was
see,
expecting
my
people.
God knew that it won't come until after. My God, it's so
I
from me.
knew that people
Are you
were
joking?
gonna-
Question.
No, but you know what? Yeah, see, there are times when
I feel
let
like
me-
men in general, like sometimes breeze will blow in his.
Well, I mean, there's
That's why
that,
it's a
you
valid
know.
question. That's why it's a valid
But
question.
I think there's sometimes where you have to remember you have to be professional. There's times when they're saying that you're supposed to be playing a love, like this person is your loving wife, and in your mind you're like, be professional. Be professional.
Exactly.
Get up close.
Be professional and be
Feel
natural.
love.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
because it's
the thing.
hard.
Yeah,
It's
like I
hard.
said, yeah, even we only think about the good ones.
What about
I was the ones
Joe?
that have a mouth odor.
Joe.
Some of you just have
Joe.
a
So
That's what PJ was talking about when he talks about
Yeah,
professionalism.
professionalism.
Because if you have a scene where you're meant to be up close and intimate with someone,
Brush,
it is
mouthwash,
your responsibility.
chewing gum.
Yeah.
Gum, like
Smell
perfume.
nice.
Even if it wasn't a rough day, we'll all be sweating and say, "Listen, bro, like I'm so sorry.
Deodorant.
It's gonna be scenty, okay? Because they have not allowed us to move." No,
It's the
but
truth.
At
It's the
least
truth.
there's an understanding
Truth.
keep
between
it
you.
100.
Yeah, so-
Keep it 100.
Yeah. But,
No.
yeah.
Let's take pictures.
Life
It was
on
such a
time.
great show. Thank you, PJ, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You can do this show.
Thank
Not
you,
talk about my
Folu.
sister. If you see
No,
your
honestly, I
life.
didn't even know how we
Actually,
see
she was nominated.
See your
Oh, I
life.
should see it. I was. Of course, I was. I was.
That's why
That
I'm just.
Trailblazer
You know
award
that this is
though
my
just
station.
I
wrote the
know.
whole
What's
night.
your-
You should have won.
What a Trailblazer?
No,